The ANC and its allies, who believe they own South Africa and treat the country like their personal business hub, have just been hit with very bad news. Just when they thought they had piled enough pressure on Jacinta Ngobese to stop the June 30th march and march, everything took an unexpected turn. Acting Police Minister Firoz Cachalia warned that organizers of the march could face arrest and legal consequences if violence, damage to property, or attacks on foreign nationals occurred. But it didn't stop there. ANC Secretary-General Fikile Mbalula warned that no one should take the law into their own hands and insisted that dealing with illegal immigration is the responsibility of the state. President Cyril Ramaphosa also declared that government would not tolerate any attempt to destabilize the country through marches or any other means. Many believed those warnings would weaken Jacinta Ngobese's movement. Instead, they appear to have done the opposite. As the political pressure intensified, Jacinta Ngobese received public backing from political leaders who have encouraged their members to join and support the June 30th march and march. Rather than fading away, the movement has gained even more attention, turning what was expected to slow it down into an even bigger political battle. In today's video, you'll see the warnings issued by Ramaphosa, Mbalula, and Cachalia, the response they never expected, and why the debate surrounding the June 30th march has become even more intense. If you support what Jacinta Ngobese is doing for South Africa, type Jacinta our hero in the comment section. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it so others can watch it too. Jabulani, roll the tape.
After June the 30th. Now, there's a narrative out there propagated by those who are organizing this reckless, disruptive behavior that they are acting in the interests of our citizens, in the interests of our people. In fact, their behavior has economic, financial, human, and diplomatic costs, as we've heard from Minister Damola. So, indeed, they are acting in a way that harms our citizens, their well-being, and our national interests. It is the responsibility of government, including the law enforcement agencies, to defend our people, to defend our sovereignty, and to uphold the law, and to ensure that the country is safe and secure. So those who are involved in organizing this disruptive behavior, accompanied by violence, we've heard that there have been fatalities, will have to bear the costs of both their criminal actions, and they will also be held civilly liable. I don't know if many of them are aware that they can be held civilly liable for any injury or damage to property that is the result of their efforts at incitement. So what we're experiencing is not costless, and that must become part of the national conversation. Thank you very much.
Are you able to just share with us the plans for tomorrow?
See, I think tomorrow it's really a protest that's going to be seen through 7 of the 9 provinces so far. We are trying to get the Northwest on board, even though there's a bit of glitches, and the Free State as well. But so far, all the 9 provinces look to be participating in tomorrow's protest, which is a message to our government and you can no longer label us as xenophobic for standing up for what is right. Our security is at risk, our resources are depleted, and jobs are being taken over and replaced by cheap labor. There's a lot going on in terms of crime as well, and South Africa cannot survive trying to absorb all of these problems just to save an image that is not true.
Have we met with March and March? March and March has been met. We have been in meetings in government where they've been there. We don't have a problem with NGOs that promote themselves around issues that organize themselves. ANC have never attacked Ngobese, Zuma. We have never attacked anyone. What we have raised is that you cannot take law unto your own hands, attack people, ban them, do all of those barbarian things. And we have called on the state to intervene. Because to us, the question of illegal immigration, addressing it is the role of the state and the state alone that must address that. And where there is a collapse of the rule of law, citizens must not take the law unto their own hands. We must instead challenge the state. Now, you are fighting a just war. You are fighting a just cause. Why do you call people makwerekwere? And even call your own, who are Matsonga from here, Aswafuna Mashangani? What have Shangan people done? Vendors. With the struggle to address immigration. Immigration that leads to drug cartels that feeds drugs to our streets, which must be eradicated. Where do Shangans come in there? It's hatred. You, as the media, you are shying away from that. I don't know because you are not asking for votes. Because you need to educate society. Why do you support a man who stand on a podium and call other Africans amakwerikweri? It's like being called a kafir. Will you agree? By a white man in the street today calling you a kafir. That will call for a revolution. There's no white man who can call me kafir in a democratic state. It's an insult. Even if he can say to me one-on-one, we will bend down and fight in the streets against that, because we know what a kafir means. It's a slavery language. Why do you allow it to be espoused by your own African brothers in the name of marching for justice in our country? What is this hatred about? That's why it is said we are xenophobes. And we have said as the ANC, South Africans are not xenophobic. And others have questioned us about it. They said that we are running away from the reality. South Africans, some are xenophobes. They hate Africans. Why do you call people names? Apartheid, when they did not like us, they called us kafirs, Negroes, nigger, whatever that it is. We have never embraced those concepts. Why today in a democratic South Africa, in the name and the blood that was shed, we allow our fellow African brothers and sisters to do this? Therefore, it cannot be done in our name. We don't have an issue with March and March. We can meet with them. We understand them, where they come from where they come from in your country. What is that going to end with? All of us, we should be looking at the state to increase its capacity to deal with this phenomenon. That's what is important. Are the issues that have been raised about illegal immigrants in our country not genuine, not real? They are real, they are truthful. We live amongst our people. I was giving you examples here. These things you know them yourselves. I'm not talking about stuff that I don't know. And then Sabelo, Samkele asked, don't we think the ANC has failed South Africans in relation to this Goge, in relation to this particular matter of illegal immigration and all of that? failure will be the simplest way of saying ANC government has actually failed. But the fact of the matter is that the matter is more complex than that. It's more complex than that, and therefore it needs to be attended to vehemently. We've been dealing with this thing since we came into power. Even before we came into power, Africans have come into this country in the city of gold and work in the mines. The Basotho nationals, Botswana, the Zimbabweans, the Mozambicans have worked in the mines, and some of them refused to be unionized under the National Union of Mine Workers and subjected themselves to the exploitation of the mining companies in our country. And therefore they were protected. It is the ANC that came into power and undermined that and unionized in the mines and recognized the unions. You remember the black and black violence, amaXhosa, nabaTswana, namachangani in the mines. Because of what? Of scab work. When others who are South Africans championed strikes in the mines, those who came from outside the country who were illegal and foreign nationals did not strike, and they were used as scab labor in our country. It is perpetuated now in our streets through the porous borders. And when the economies of Zimbabwe collapsed, we then witnessed the unprecedented amount of Africans crossing the Limpopo River among crocodiles coming into our country with children, crossing to South Africa for survival. When Robert Mugabe fought for land redistribution in Zimbabwe, and Zimbabwe subjected to sanctions and paralyzed to the ground, when Zimbabwe was the breadbasket of the African continent, and Zimbabweans did not need to come to South Africa to look for jobs, including petty jobs working in our homes, because they were satisfied in Zimbabwe. There are mines in Zimbabwe. Breadbasket, they were working in the fields in Zimbabwe. They came into our country after Mugabe, forcefully. After 10 years of the Lancaster collapse, that now we are taking land. And they said Mugabe is doing land grab. Tony Blair and United States of America withdrew the economic support and investment in Zimbabwe and collapsed the Zimbabwean economy. But they still exploit the natural resources of Zimbabwe. Zimbabweans, the whole country is here in South Africa. We had to even include exemption permits for Zimbabweans. Why are Botswana nationals not here in South Africa? In their numbers, they are happy in Botswana. Swazis, Abesotho, they are there, Samshwef. Others are still here, but they are there in their countries in numbers. Why are they here? No justification for that. We have been talking to them from the days of Thabo Mbeki that give Zimbabweans what we have agreed to them. They looked away.
Made it clear that every person within our borders must be here lawfully. We have also said that responsibility for enforcing our laws rests with the state and the state alone, and that no individual may stop any person to demand documentation or proof of identity or nationality. There is no place for racism in our country, no place for sexism, for xenophobia, for Afrophobia, or any other form of intolerance. As government, we have put in place security and other measures to deal with any attempts to destabilize our country, whether by citizens or foreign nationals, and we will not tolerate any attempts to destabilize the country by anyone, whether marching or otherwise. Our security forces are ready, and those who transgress the measures that we're putting in place will definitely meet the might of the law. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
In this video, I believe you've just watched what Fikile Mbalula, President Cyril Ramaphosa, and Acting Police Minister Firoz Cachalia had to say. To many people, those warnings appeared to be an attempt to weaken the movement and ensure that the June 30th deadline march would not go ahead. But with all those warnings, something unexpected happened. What many expected would intimidate Jacinta Ngobese instead became a turning point. Rather than weakening the movement, it began attracting even more attention and support. Political leaders who say they understand what ordinary South Africans are going through have now publicly voiced their support for the movement. Now watch what they had to say and why many believe their statements have put even more pressure on Ramaphosa and Mbalula and Acting Police Minister Firoz Cachalia. Let's watch.
I nearly lost my car through the Nigerians. I took my car to be done a service, and then I went out of the car, and then I was talking with the other gentlemen. They said reverse the car back, and then I reversed. Somebody was going out when they do wheel alignment. I left the keys inside, and then those keys, they were taken, and then the gentleman from that particular place, he refused to show me the camera. So the cars from the car cannot move from inside the car and then go to be in the place on top of the table where they were drinking alcohol. When I called the police, and then it was a situation to say, no, I shouldn't force the guy to show me the camera who took my car keys. I went home and then broke the butler of my house, broke the door in order to go and get the spare keys, in order to go and fetch my car. So those are some of the things, guys, we say, much and much what is doing. It's not something that is wrong. As long as they indicated that it's a peaceful march, they're just raising the grievances.
Okay.
So I'm finishing now. They can go to Cosmo City and conduct a research, guys. Our kids are dying with drugs. You can start from South Africa Drive until Honeydew. The main road is drugs. There are even times where they collect. So guys, can you represent us? We elected you because we loved you, we respected you. Can you deliver the expected service to us?
Okay.
So one comment.
You can't continue.
No, I was just...
No, listen.
Okay. Yes.
We have to release...
I've been hearing that we have been discussing, but the main issue here is youth unemployment. According to the recent stats, it was discovered that approximately 46% of youth are unemployed today. And those youth, we are talking about graduates who hold master's degrees, honors degrees. But then our main concern is that the recent stats has shown that many higher learning institutions in South Africa are prioritizing immigrant workers. They are prioritizing immigrant workers, whereas we have South Africans who have PhDs and masters, but they are sitting at home. And also, it was mentioned that 600 million has been taken out in their budget to control the March protest. But then I don't know how much has been allocated for the issue of youth unemployment. Because honestly, the main issue that we are having in South Africa is unemployment. That's why we tend to blame the shift, because now we are hopeless. We are youth sitting with degrees at home. Now we don't know, we really don't know, because we are hopeless youth. That's why we are shifting the blame to the immigrants, that maybe the immigrants are stealing our jobs. But our government is not saying anything. And when I'm talking about the budget for youth, I'm not only talking about internships. Because we have a situation in South Africa whereby graduates will be allocated to a 12-month internship with a stipend of 5,000. What can you do into this economy with 5,000? It can only afford you to go to work and gain experience. After that experience, you sit at home. And then the next internship is coming again. And then they specify that if you have participated in a 12-month internship, you are no longer eligible to join again. And then so we have youth, graduates who are sitting at home with those 12 months experience and nothing is happening. So to the parliament, I want to raise this concern. Please hear the youth. Like, we are hopeless. And the issue of unemployment is the main concern that is causing this whole thing. If people were employed, we wouldn't even sitting here. We wouldn't even having this xenophobic or what allegation. This is all happening because of the issue of unemployment in South Africa. Thank you.
There was no transparency in the real issue that we have as migration as well as social cohesion. We are living the real issues of we having illegal migration, which is in the high rate without solutions. There are influx of people within the country without states taking accountability in saying what is the solution of dealing with undocumented migration or people that are in our country, which we have resources that are being dilapidated, which are being exhausted within our country without solutions. And with this, with the SG telling us and giving us the statistics and giving us a blind spot of saying, what is the solution? How are we going to deal with undocumented people? Are we going to give them passport as they require? Are we going to listen to each other? Or are we going to knock each other's heads so that we can understand that people are unemployed? And with hunger, it can get to people so that they can fight amongst what belongs to them. However, we have barriers within our constitution. And I think with those gaps, people have seen that it's going to take advantage within our constitution as well as our laws. However, we have youth every time going to universities so that they can make sure that they get skills. But however, there is mismatch of skills, policy barriers. How are we going to solve these issues? As symposium, it's meant for experts to tell us and bring solution makers so that people can make sure that when we go out here, we have people living in this country with real reason, without saying they belong in our country fighting, but they belong in our country with harmony, with Ubuntu spirit, so that even us, when we go to other countries, we feel normal, we feel that we know that when we visit African continent, they support us as we are playing in the FIFA World Cup, rather than saying that they don't support South Africa. Those are real issues. We have barriers. Parliament, solve issues of the youth. We are talking as youth, people are unemployed. How are you going to solve these issues? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Okay. By name, I'm Tushako Blessing Makubele. Well, when we started, the chairperson indicated, the chairperson of the NCOP said that he need empirical evidence. Yeah. And I'm glad that the SG has presented quantitative data that speaks to what we wanted to hear. And from a qualitative evidence, we are hearing from the streets, people are voicing out their concerns and they cannot be ignored. Well, as the concerns are raised, this calls for the parliament to listen and not avoid what South Africans are saying. And I'm glad that the DM has indicated that we are not xenophobic. Yes, truly, we are not xenophobic. But the country has concerns. And amongst us that are seated here, we might be sitting in positions of privilege, and it doesn't affect what these communities are facing. Well, the SG has said that the official statistics are what people say. So people are saying a lot. My question is, what data exists on the net fiscal impact of undocumented migrants, both on national and municipal budgets, considering both services costs, and informal economic contributions. Thank you very much.
Okay. And there are leaders that are in the room. We love you.
Oh, sorry, you didn't introduce yourself.
Oh, my name is Itumeleng.
Members want to hear.
Yeah. My name is Itumeleng. I work a lot of I work a lot with young people that are youth-owned businesses to assist them to grow their businesses in order to cap some of these challenges. The graduate has been alluding here next to me. What we are saying is that, please, in simple ways, we are saying we are the country, we have laws in the country. We love you. We are our brothers and we are our sisters. Please, just respect our country laws. That's all I want to say. And it has become, it seems like on the ground, it has become fashionable and that you can just come to South Africa, you know, and you do as you please. Now, please, that is the simplest message. We're not hating anyone, and yes, we are not xenophobic. South Africans are not xenophobic. We're not. And I repeat, we love you. We are for Africanism. And we believe we want to grow the country. We want to grow our economy within Africa, African countries. But please, let's ensure that we respect our laws, our country, and not abuse our young people and take an advantage of the fact that they're unemployed. And the challenge is that you can't run a country and you can't account who's in the country. I mean, in your household, when you draft your budget, you account for number of people that are there. But you can't, it's very difficult due to limited resources and now constraints in our resources, and it causes strain on our system due to the fact that, yes, Statistician General was correct to say that you can't say no to a person that is coming. But it's very difficult when in our crime states that you have somebody, you don't have fingerprints of that particular person. You don't know who they are. It's very challenging. Please, let's observe our laws, and then let's, we want to work together with South Africans. Thank you.
Thank you.
Resources. It was not on behalf of the mass of the people of Zimbabwe. Of course, as I have said, that we share historical ties. We remember our liberation icons born in Zimbabwe who played a critical role in the struggle against apartheid. For example, Thomas Ngobese from Plumtree in Zimbabwe became the Treasurer General of the African National Congress. Uba Makhathi Nkuduza from Cholocho was part of the people that provided meals to Tatu Mandela when he was underground. We also know Ubaba Mpofu, also who was in prison in Ruben Island after becoming the chairperson of the ANC in a Soweto branch. Let me jump all this and come to the amnesty that we are proposing. We recognize the issues, Honorable Chair, that have been raised. But we also accept that irregular migration is not proper. But it is common cause that you have people that have been working for years in South Africa undocumented. Our plea to the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee is that such individuals or workers must be given an amnesty for them to wind down whatever they are doing in South Africa, because we believe that employers must take responsibility in transporting them together with their goods to their countries of origin. So we think that if we were to work around an amnesty of 31st December 2026 without necessarily rounding up those that are undocumented, then they travel and they leave their properties behind, we think it is not proper. Secondly, Chair, we think that we need to return to the white paper on international migration as gazetted in 2017, which in our view was progressive, because the reality is South Africa is a member of SADC, and we know that countries, migrants from the SADC region are attracted to work in South Africa. So the white paper on international migration gazetted in 2017, as I conclude, proposed 3 visas after it realized this, that you provide a work visa for semi-skilled and low-skilled workers that are already in the Republic of South Africa. You provide a cross-border visa for those that are doing cross-border trade, and you provide a business visa for those that are doing business in South Africa. Thank you so much.
The good thing about it is that it's in writing, so please submit it to the committee immediately. I'm going to take this side, 1, 2, and the lady at the back, and then we move to